Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It is December 12th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And I didn't trade today. I was out this morning for a dental appointment, as I spoke about yesterday. So I didn't see any of the price action today. It was almost 3 o'clock before I got back here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I just downloaded what we had up until about 3 o'clock, and so I'm going to go through the chart lesson as I see it. And show you the trades that I see that look like they set up during the day, and then we'll wrap this up. But when I came in, let me back out just a little further. It's a little hard to see. But you can see we had a trend up, and as you'll see occasionally, yesterday we had a trend up early, but then we reversed and filled this the gap that was left. Today worked out a little bit differently. By the end of the day, we were close to filling the gap there, not quite. But this is what you'll see sometimes. You'll see this trend up, and it's a little steep. You can see it's really steep, and that's just way too steep, and that's not a healthy trend. But look how it leveled out to a 45-degree angle, and that's a nice healthy trend there. And we actually got a little overshoot up here, and it reversed, and we've been trading down since that point. There was a little bit of a correction right here, um, going into the 2 o'clock hour. I didn't see any trades. There's just a couple of setup, maybe one possible setup there, and I didn't mark it. But we actually had this real steep sell-off coming down, and then we went into a little bit slightly flatter two-tiered channel, which I'll show you when we can see it a little better. It's kind of hard to see this far out, but when we get to that point, I'll talk about it and you'll see it. But I'm gonna back out. We'll go through the trades, and we'll wrap it up for the day. Now, it's 7 o'clock. There's a trade right here. Usually I don't start marking trades till 7 o'clock, but into the 7 o'clock hour we were trending up, and there's two tiers of this. I only have the trend channel and the trend line. You really don't need the midline, but it's there. So, but anyway, 7 o'clock came as as prices were moving up here, and then you come back, you get a first entry, you come back and you hit the trend line, and you get a second entry long. That's not a very good signal bar. But if you look at it from this side, this is a double bottom, so that counts as a new low, and you get a first entry, second entry, and you tried to go lower 3 times there. It's like a double test. There's a failed second entry short in there as well. It really was not a failed second entry short until it broke higher, which it didn't break higher till above that bar as well. And in that case, the signal bar is not as important. So you might take that trade. If you understood what I just described, you could argue that that would be blue, but I just made it green because that's a little bit more advanced. But notice you're moving up first entry, and then you get the second entry short right there, and it broke higher. When it broke higher above that bar, it was a second entry long, and it became a failed second entry short, and it's right off a key entry point. So that's why I liked it, and it does take on off. But it is a little aggressive. So then we sell off here, and you finally get a close outside. Looks like we're going to try to go higher, and we're really just kind of going sideways here, and you get this failed breakout, and it goes all the way through. That one is very tempting, but it's right into these lows, so I would wait. And we actually come back to the trend line here, and notice you got a new low, first entry, second entry, and it also is a retest of this breakout area. You tested it once, you tested it twice, so you got a double test there. You got a second entry short. A lot of things going on right there, and a nice bearish bar right off the EMA trend line, right off the support resistance line right there. Was support, now it's acting as resistance. That's a great place to go short. You get a lower high right here. Another bearish bar, again, right off that key entry point, right off the EMA. And we move on down, and you actually get a little overshoot here, so that's usually it's not long until we get a break. But look what happens. If you drew this trend line, it gets confirmed right here. Not a very good signal bar, so wait on a higher low. There's one in here, but I'd want a little more correction than that. And it comes back right to where you would expect it to, maybe two, and you get a nice bullish bar. I like going long right there. And then it comes back and gives you a failed second entry short and confirms that trend line. and it actually went lower and turned and went out the other side. So you could already have a sell stop one tick above that bar right there, the real bearish bar. You could have a buy stop, I'm sorry, one tick above that, and when it broke lower and turned and went out the other side. Or you could wait on that one to close and go long there. This one is, if it wasn't for this trend line down here, I would say you might want to wait on a real reversal pattern because it didn't really tick lower there. But I still like that trade based on the fact that it looks like that. I mean, this is a pretty common occurrence for you to get this flatter trend challenge. You can see that trend line working right off those lows. Off it goes. This was a nice setup. There's actually a second entry long right there. And while I don't have it on here, I'm sure there's probably a midline. And you can see that midline right up through there. And so there's a second entry long right off that midline. I didn't mark it, but you should at least have that one green. I prefer to see it come back to the EMA and the trend line instead of the midline. I always like to make that just a little lighter so you recognize what it is. But that's a second entry long. It is off a key entry point, although the midline is not as reliable as the trend line. But then notice what happens. We come back, we get a first entry and then a second entry long. This is really your signal bar, but when this one formed in between and was so bullish, when it broke above that, it's still a second entry long. I don't have a problem with you putting a buy stop right there and taking that trade. And I really thought we would go on up to the high side there, but we don't. We just turned down. And I don't think you want to go short there. You don't know that it's going to take off like that. That would have been a nice entry. And it is a failed second entry long the minute it turns lower right there. So, you know, looking at it and thinking about it like that, I wouldn't really have a problem with that. I think it's a little aggressive, but so let's make it green. But it's real close. I mean, you could argue for that to even be red just because it's, notice that high first entry, second entry. But you're really looking for prices to go higher here to try to make a new high on this channel. And there's no real overshoot on this one or anything. So I really was looking for prices to go higher here, but it didn't happen. It just turned and the bottom fell out of it. And it is a failed second entry long. So it became a failed second entry long the minute it broke below that bar right there. And of course we hit down here and we bounced right off the trend line again. That one is tempting. The only reason I don't like that one is because you got this trend line working down through here and we hadn't closed outside of it yet. This trend line could be a little bit steeper. It could be more like that right there. Actually, I'm pretty sure that is it. Let's just, well, I like to verify. Just put it on the other side and see how, and you can see it fits real nicely there. It's bouncing right off of that each way. So that's a little better. So you still don't have a close outside and a new low yet. So that's why I'm a little hesitant that, but it's off this main key entry point down here. So you could argue for that one. Being that bullish, being that far away from the EMA and being off a key entry point, the better thing is to wait on a higher low, which you get one here and you still got plenty of room, but you don't always get a higher low. A lot of times this thing will rocket off just like it did right here and you don't get an opportunity to enter. So anyway, needless to say, you still got another opportunity to get in it right here. And off it goes. And then we're getting up here close to this high yet. We hadn't got there yet. There's actually another bounce right here, right off the trend line. Actually, I don't have that drawn quite right. It's more like that right there. You can see how that fits real nicely on the other side. But same thing, is still 2 legs back to the EMA and the trend line. We did make a new high here, but it's still a couple of legs back. But more than anything, it's a bounce off the key entry point and the EMA. And it's a bullish bar and we aren't back to the top yet, so there's a good chance we're going. This thing gets just enough to scalp out and then turns down. And I did make it green just because it's a first entry Technically, it's not a legitimate two legs back, but it's the same thing. So, and there's actually a second entry long right here. Notice that high, first entry, second entry, but that bar's too bearish. And it does move on up to the highs. And you're trying to find a way to get short here, possibly. Because we're swinging back and forth above and below the EMA, you can trade this channel both ways, and you can see that it's not real steep either. So you could really trade this both ways if you get a good setup. But you really don't get a chance to go short here, so you're just, just wait and see if you get another long. And notice we got a trend line working up, and we pull back to it right there in the EMA bullish bar. You got to figure we're headed up here again. Comes back and it bounces right here. And that's the first close outside that trend line. So I still like this one with it bouncing right off that that midline twice there with that bullish bar. It's a pretty big bar, so this is one that you might have let break higher and then dropped your limit order back a tick or two, and it would have, it looks like it probably would have filled it back a tick or two into this bar, but you could just go long one tick above that one. I don't have a problem with that. And off it goes. Make a lower high here, but that's a huge bar right back into the EMA, and you see how it's struggling to get through there. So just wait, and notice you get a failed second entry long right here, but you got the support here, and it doesn't look like we quite touched that upper line yet, so it could bounce again. So I'm not crazy about trying to get short in here. And of course, looks like we're going to go lower, and it bounces right there and gives you that bullish bar. It closes back above this midline. We still haven't got up there, but that's so close it's hard to judge. So I'm not crazy about that one, but when we made this higher low and got that big bullish bar, I like going long right there. And it finally reaches the top and actually overshoots it. And then look what happens. You got a new high, first entry, second entry, and it fails and turns down. Big bearish bar. I like going short there. There's another one off the trend line right there, but you know, it's kind of hard to set that trend line and say that's it for a fact. I'd wait on a better confirmation than that, and we actually get one right here. And this is basically a double top. So first entry, there's actually two measured legs down to right here, and then this breaks higher, turns down, closes real negative. I like going short there. Failed second entry long. Plus, look how it came back through this EMA here, or I'm sorry, midline. Comes back and tests it. That's what you want to see, and gives you a big bearish bar. We're probably heading here. And you look like you should have probably got a runner out of this too, but look how what happens. It just takes off to the races. And it comes back to the trend line, back to the EMA, but you still got this trend line working up, and that's the first close outside. So I'm a little leery of taking that one. It is a long way from here, but generally you may get a lower high, and you actually get one here, but again, it's by the time you can go short, it's way down here into this support again, but then you get a failed second entry long right there. And so when it breaks below that bar, that's a second entry short, plus it's a failed second entry long. And it's not a very good signal bar, but that little trap there makes it worthwhile. And that's the first break. We'll look at, notice we had an overshoot of this trend channel. And then usually you get a break soon thereafter, and that's another reason I don't like that one, because a lot of times you'll get that break real quickly and notice you got it, and then but you get a nice setup to go short. Off it goes. There's a lower high here right off that trend line again, but we've already got a close outside and a big leg down, so and that's right into the low, and you're not back to the EMA, so I'm not crazy about that one either. But notice what happens. You work your way back. You actually get a second entry short right here, but I'd wait on a lower high, which comes right here. You get a break. It actually goes higher and turns and goes out the other side. I don't have a problem going short right there. You still got plenty of room to get out. You get a failed second entry long right here with another big bearish bar right there. And now you've got this other trend line going. And these two actually confirmed it. That's another reason this one is a possibility. I mean, you could probably make that one green. I don't think I would take that trade regardless, but if you look at that, It's right off that trend line of the brownish red channel. But you get another chance right here and you get it confirmed for sure. I mean, that really confirms it right there because you got your first two swings, that comes back and confirms it. But you get a lower high and another turn down off of it right there with a big bearish bar that actually broke higher. So I like that one. And then you just come back here, and this is a double top. So first entry, second entry, failed second entry long right there, go short. And that was pretty much it for the day. I don't see anything I want to buy in here into this 2 o'clock hour. And you definitely don't want to be getting short anymore. So at least not unless you got a big second entry or something and you don't get one. So pretty good day, looks like. I hate I didn't get to trade today. It was a little slow getting started anyway, but looks like once we got started, there's some good trades in here. Mostly to the long side today. This is a upward trend, real steep here, and then it flattens out, two-tiered. But this is definitely an upward bias, so that's why you're going to see more buys in here than you do sales. So we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll come in and wrap up our week. And I still haven't decided. Tomorrow may wrap it up for me for the rest of the year. Of course, I'll trade on Friday, but I don't do chart lessons on Fridays now. So I will probably trade at least Monday, maybe Tuesday, but I'd really like to take that whole week off. And I know I'll take this whole week off of Christmas here. So we'll just have to kind of see what happens. I'll probably tell you I'm wrapping up on Friday or Thursday for the year. But if I come in Monday, I will do a chart lesson. And maybe even Tuesday, but I just haven't decided yet. It just depends on how I'm feeling and how my day's going, how my Christmas shopping's going, and all that good stuff. So anyway, we'll talk more about it. I'll give you plenty of heads up. But hope you had a good day today. Hate I missed out on trading today, but that's the way it goes sometimes, especially coming up into the holidays. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again tomorrow and wrap up our week. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.